Hello, friends. This is Christopher Davis-Shannon, and today we're hopping over the Atlantic Ocean yet again, which I think we've done for the last 3 or 4 interviews. But we're actually checking in with someone who I think needs very little introduction in the ukulele world. This is the ukulele teacher. But for our purposes today, we will call him John.
John, yeah, that's much better. Thank you very
I think
much.
it's much
Thank you.
easier, less syllables. I enjoy that.
John is a lot easier, and yeah, I feel like I started this 10 years ago in October, and it was very much tongue in cheek, and now I'm worried that that name has become something of a sort of albatross around my neck. You know, I am the ukulele teacher.
Now you're very
And,
serious, whether you like it or not. That's the
Right,
problem.
right. But I feel I've sort of set myself up as some kind of massive like authority or oracle, and I'm by no means deserving of that title. It was very much just a sort of SEO, search engine optimization kind of deal at the time. But it's stuck.
And 10 years ago, you could actually get that name. That's the wildest thing. You know, everything's taken now on the internet. Before we get too far into things, would you mind just kicking us off with a song?
Oh, sure. Okay, here's a song for you guys.
Some things in life are bad. They can really make you mad. Other things just make you curse and shout. When you're chewing on life's gristle, that one will give a whistle, and this will help things turn out for the best. And always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life.
Thank you for that, John. And as you were saying before I interrupted you so rudely and forced you to play a song for these fabulous people. It's how you got started 10 years ago teaching ukulele on YouTube. And I think were you the first person really doing that?
I think I was the second one, but I'm not totally sure. I think, Ukulele Mike Lynch.
Oh, Mike Lynch, of course, yeah.
So he was sort of the old Canadian fisherman guy. I think he was like a fisherman or something, maybe. Like he lived on a boat, sure. I think. I feel like that. He had the vibe of someone who sort of lived on a boat.
Even if that's not true, we're rolling with it for tonight.
Okay, cool. But so I think I was the only one. I think I was, the only one apart from Ukulele Mike. And then I actually saw your chat with Tyler, 10 Thumbs, the other day.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And he mentioned this, and he sort of said something along the lines of, so I saw there was Ukulele Mike and the Ukulele Teacher, and I'm like, right, I'm going to throw my hat into the ring, and I think I can sort of do better than these guys. And I'm like, yikes, like I wasn't trying to kind of set my, I mean, he meant it in a cool way, like I'm cool with Tyler, but I just mean, I wasn't kind of intentionally setting myself up as this great authority. I was just trying to basically like teach myself how to edit videos actually, and just sort of pass the time on Sunday afternoons. And all of a sudden there's people like kind of gunning for me. It felt like. So but I think I was the first or second.
And when you were starting, you were starting ukulele yourself, right? When you were starting that out, you hadn't been playing terribly long at all, if I recall.
Yeah, sort of. Yes and no. I was playing guitar for like 20 years before I started playing ukulele. So I had like a background on stringed instruments. And in fact, I played double bass at school, that was like a long time ago.
I'm a double bass player as well. That's my primary instrument.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. That's cool.
You can double bass. There's something that's like they really go together well. I know so many double bass players that play ukulele.
Well, it was a lot easier to like carry the uke around, than carry the double bass. So I could cycle the gigs on with the uke. But that was not going to happen with the double bass. But yeah, I hadn't been playing the uke seriously that long. In fact, I only bought a uke as a kind of joke because a friend of mine at work was playing some videos, posting some videos of him playing. I mean, he was like great, like really cool, really musical, like a great guy and everything. But I still felt there was something kind of inherently ridiculous about the ukulele that I wanted to, I don't want to say exploit for financial gain.
No, you
but
can
basically,
say it.
just
It's
I wanted
okay.
to kind of make this guy at my office. And can I? Okay. But no, I just kind of wanted to make fun of this guy at my office. And so I bought this ukulele. I guess it was probably like, I don't know, £30 or something. And I found the website Ukulele Hunt.
Yeah.
Got to be careful how I say that one. And and they had a load of great tabs on there. So like the Super Mario theme and like loads of TV themes and dueling banjos and stuff like that. And I just thought this is like a great wheeze. I can play this kind of crazy kind of relatively complex, at least for me, sort of pieces of music on a ukulele, and it became kind of like a party piece almost. So I played a few videos as on a channel called The Old Time Ukulele Guy, in fact. And I would just put them in black and white, and I would wear like a sort of bow tie and everything. And they kind of took off, and that gave me the idea for the ukulele teacher, and it sort of spawned from there. But then, yeah, when I went to do the teaching, I joked for at least the first couple of years that I'm basically one lesson ahead of everyone that I'm teaching. So yeah, that I guess you could say I hadn't been playing for too long.
I feel like that's a good goal as a teacher. As a teacher, you need to be one step ahead, not yards ahead necessarily.
Yeah,
that little bit
not
better
yards
on
ahead.
it,
No,
whatever
very
you're
much
teaching.
like
Right?
Yeah.
So how many lessons are you up to now after 10 years of teaching online?
Now I'd have to think about it, but I'm pretty sure it's over 800. I mean, like really easily over 800. There's somewhere on YouTube on the Creator Studio where it tells you how many videos you've made.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're always messing around with it, so I can't even remember where it is. But someone told me the other day, oh, you're on your 837th lesson or something like that. So I think it's in that ballpark. I mean, once I got serious with it, the first year or so, I was doing maybe one video a month or thereabouts. But then once I actually got to monetize the channel, all of a sudden I was like, right, at least 2 videos a week, every week. And it's going to, hopefully snowball and grow. And I've stuck with at least one, as many as 3 or 4 videos a week for at least, say, the last maybe 8 years, including through like sort of getting married, moving to America, having a baby, moving back from America. Like I've still been pumping out those videos. So yeah, it's got to be in the high 800 and something.
Yeah,
I think.
and that's wild to me. Putting out 3 to 4 videos a week because for anyone that doesn't do video editing, I feel like doing 3 to 4 videos a week is akin to 2 full-time jobs or somewhere close to it.
It's killing me.
Once you design the lessons,
Yeah.
film, edit, and are you still doing all the editing and the back end stuff yourself at this point?
Yeah. I've spoken to other YouTubers who've said, oh, you should get an editor or get someone else to do this or that for you. But the thing is, I just don't know how I could give it to someone else, because not that someone can do it better than me, but because I guess when I film the lesson, I don't go from a script. I just sort of talk. I basically talk about 25 minutes and try and cut it down to say 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah, same
so,
here. Yeah.
And because I guess if I was doing like a vlog, if I was doing like a vlog or a blog, then someone else could say, okay, this bit's good, this bit's bad, get rid of this, that bit's not interesting. But because it has to be at least somewhat educational, obviously I make like a lot of mistakes, and I can't have someone else editing that and putting the mistakes in and cutting out the bits that are kind of correct. So at the moment, I feel like I'm just stuck with doing it myself. But until I teach my wife how to play ukulele, maybe. But she doesn't seem too keen on that yet.
Then it could become a family affair. Well, you have a young child at home now too, right? So maybe the son could be taking up the uke in a couple of years.
I don't know if you saw, but when he was born, there's a video and he's like, I think 10 days old, and I play what is it called? I want to say Claire de Lune. No, Brahms' Lullaby.
Oh yeah.
Crib. And that's sort of like the first time that he ever heard the ukulele. And but then from then he's heard it every day of his life, So, and he's even got his own. I threw it away somewhere when I was tidying up, but he's even got his own ukulele. which Carla sent to him, like the sort of bright green see-through one, which he likes, strumming, detuning as well. But I mean, when we were in LA, he shared, I shared my office with his bedroom. So when he would come to bed, he would basically say goodnight to every ukulele that I have. Every single one. And even now, he knows, like, he'll point down and go like bass or banjo or whatever, and like he kind of knows the difference between some of them. So I think when he's just a little bit older, I'll be able to teach him maybe a few chords, and from there he's gonna, soar past me, I think.
Yeah, growing up around it.
Yeah.
To say, well, my mother is a musician as well. When you grow up around it, it just becomes so natural. It's just a part of your life, right?
Yeah.
Something you always have there.
I hope so, because I was the only real musician in my family, so I was never really able to share it with anyone. My dad, this is going to happen to me, I think, but my dad told me that he played guitar, and then when he gave me a guitar for my 10th birthday, I'm not even joking, within a week, I knew more about the guitar than he did. So I think he knew one Beatles song, which he taught me, and then after that, it was like, okay, you're on your own. That's kind of the limit of my expertise. So I can sort of see it happening to me, and a lot more, and a lot quicker as well. But we'll see, But yeah, he's enjoying it. And in fact, we used to jam as well every day when I'd put him to bed. We'd sort of grab our ukes and I'd sing a song. And today he said, I was playing a ukulele to him while I was sort of looking after him in the afternoon, and he was saying, Dan Bull, Dan Bull. And I'm like, what does this mean? Is this like a word is this like a YouTube video I haven't seen or something? Dan Bull. And I suddenly realized he wanted me to play Istanbul, because we used to jam with that every day when we go to a bath, because it's only a sort of 2-chordy kind of song, but we'd make it last, 10 or 15 minutes while we were playing it. And so I started playing it, and he starts jumping up and down and strumming his uke and everything to it. So that's like a new word that he's learned today, is Dan Bull, which means Istanbul.
Istanbul. That's it. It's a good short. And actually, Chad, would you mind playing that tune for us?
I'd be very happy to play a version of it. I can't I can't vouch for the accuracy of it, but I will play a version of that song. Yeah.
All right.
Istanbul is Constantinople. Now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople. So if you got a date in Constantinople, she'll be waiting in Istanbul. Every girl in Constantinople lives in Istanbul or Constantinople. So if you got a date in Constantinople, she'll be waiting in Istanbul. Even old New York was once New Amsterdam. Why they changed it, I can't say. People just liked it better that way. So take me back to Constantinople. We can go back to Constantinople. Been a long time gone, Constantinople. Why did Constantinople get the works? There's nobody's was mother tongue.
And that was Dan Bull.
Dan Bull, yeah. Sounds like the name of a guy I went to school with. But,
So during the pandemic, since everything shut down, I guess your professional life probably didn't change terribly as you produce videos online, right?
yes and no, yeah, for sure. It hasn't really changed for better or for worse. Yeah, we've been like super fortunate, to be honest with you. Yeah. I guess the only downside is maybe my son might be kind of thinking about starting nursery or something now. But in fact, the three of us are basically all at home all day, every day, forever at the moment. So it can be a little bit difficult with the kid and stuff around. But to be honest, it's actually a pleasure. I mean, you know, whenever I'm like fed up with editing or something, I'll just run down and play with him for a bit or stuff like that. But yeah, on the whole, things haven't changed for me. We've been really fortunate through this whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. You don't hear that too much these days. It's actually very great to hear someone say, "Hey, it's not so bad."
Well,
Get to be home with my family. How terrible, right?
Well, no, I mean, like, but we feel incredibly lucky, and I have to say it.
Yeah.
And as a sort of I don't know, I was going to say lapsed Catholic. That is not at all what I am. But as a lapsed Catholic, I feel a great sense of guilt as well. I think as an Englishman, I think that's what I'm looking for. As an Englishman, I also feel a lot of guilt for how well how comfortable we've been throughout this whole thing. But yeah, we've been very lucky, and I do feel blessed and guilty in equal measure. But yeah, I think things are going okay.
Did you make the move back to England before the pandemic hit?
We made it a few months into the pandemic. My wife actually works for a doctor or worked for a doctor, and he could kind of see where it was going. And we were like, yeah, maybe it would be nice to sort of go back home for a little while to England. Because I mean, England isn't doing great, but we've moved to a little small village. I don't know if you know Bath. It's in kind of the southwest of England. But it's kind of comfortable. It's close to my parents and family. And we just kind of thought, yeah, America's got, yeah, I mean, we moved back in August, and I mean, things, I don't want to get, I won't get political, but things in America were getting a little bit crazy, not just with the coronavirus, but kind of everything.
Oh, yes. And, yes, I remember that.
Yeah. So we just kind of began to think, well, you know, we've got a kid to think about now. And
absolutely.
Yeah, LA isn't kind of the LA that I was living in last summer wasn't the LA I moved to 5 years ago. And it certainly wasn't the LA my wife has lived in most of her life. So we just kind of thought it would be kind of safer and quieter and more comfortable. Like I said, we've got a kid now, so we kind of have different priorities, you know. So yeah, we wanted to come back, be a bit close to my parents, just be a bit more comfortable.
Don't blame it. And you get to weigh that decision since you're English, going American health system or NHS? American health system, NHS.
Oh, well, yeah. No, it's again, like I say, very fortunate and quite strong feelings of guilt as well.
Yeah.
To sort of counteract that. So yeah. But yeah, we moved back for a whole bunch of reasons. But we're very happy to be here in England at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. And I know one other way that you've been spending your time besides YouTube is actually a service I've been using as well, which is called Cameo, where people can hire you to do songs for them or for their significant other or their parents' birthday, whatnot.
Yeah. I didn't realize you were on Cameo. So are you doing this as well? You're writing little songs and stuff as well?
Yeah, I've only done a few things on there because I never really push it, but I think it's a really cool concept. It's sort of a digital singing telegram, which is like a nostalgic thing for me. I love, actually at the beginning of the pandemic, I found a singing telegram in Philadelphia and sent it to my partner to go outside her house and regale her. Because I love all things nostalgic. That's what Cameo feels like to me, is a virtual singing telegram.
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, it's been so cool. And the the reviews I've had for some of my things have been sort of undeservedly effusive, I would say, as well. Like but I started off working really hard. I don't know if you found this, but when I started, it would take me, I don't know, I would spend like an hour and a half doing this one song for like $10, and just spend like hours and hours. Like someone said, oh, can you write a song for my husband? He likes NASCAR racing. He likes watching old NASCAR races. And I'm like English, I barely know what NASCAR is, but I'd be like researching
To be fair,
be,
I'm
like,
American
researching
and I barely
NASCAR.
know what NASCAR is.
Okay.
So.
So I spent like an hour like researching like NASCAR driving, finding out who won what race year, and then making them rhyme, and then writing like a little song out of it. And then at the end, after like Cameo and Apple take their cut, I'd get like $8 or something for doing that. And I was like, oh, time well spent, you know. But after a while,
I made minimum wage.
made my workload like a lot easier. Yeah, right. Well, barely. But I made my workload a lot easier. Like I've just got like a few kind of. Actually, I don't want to give away too many of my secrets. So I'll cut that sentence off a little bit. But what I was going to say is, if someone mentions like, oh, can you write a song for someone sent me one. They said, oh, can you write a song for my boss, whatever his name was? He likes Fleetwood Mac, right? So I'm like, oh, Fleetwood Mac, okay. And so I just changed. You can go your own way to happy, happy birthday. And they're just like, oh, that's genius. 5 stars. Thank you so much. It must have taken you hours. I don't know how you think of this stuff. And I'm like, oh, great. I think I'm onto something here. So that's like a little tip for fellow
It took me
cameos,
5 days to create.
Right, exactly. So I've just basically found if someone mentions like a song or an artist they like, just subtly change the words to happy birthday to any song. And it seems to work pretty well.
Yeah, there's something for, breeding familiarity in music. People want to hear the same, even if they don't want to admit it. We like hearing the same, be it harmonically or melodically. There's like catharsis in that normality of music,
For sure, yeah. I was just watching. Do you know Abby Lyons? You know Abby?
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Yeah, great. She just did a songwriting.
Yes, yeah.
15-day songwriting challenge, or not challenge, like a course.
Yeah, and what a person to learn from. She's an incredible songwriter. I mean, just just mind blowing.
Yeah, but she was saying in her lyrics one that although a lot of people say like avoid cliche, it's actually quite a good idea to have like at least a little bit of cliche, because people do want something to kind of for their brain to like latch onto that they recognize. Like you said, familiarity. So which is something I'm trying to remember when I'm occasionally foraying into songwriting, which is very, very occasionally, because I find it incredibly difficult. But
yeah, same here. I'm much better at composing music than I am at writing lyrics. That's the reality of it for me.
Yeah.
It's never words have never come quite as easily to me. Speaking of writing, I actually wanted to loop back to something we were talking about before about the YouTube videos and teaching and all that. I was talking to you earlier about how I know a lot of other teachers watch this podcast, and I'm curious about your methodology in how you sort of write a lesson out, or how you approach giving a lesson, because I think it's different than a lot of other people, and I think it's a great thing because it's so highly accessible to everyone. You bridge that gap, and I think that's one of the hardest things in teaching is, and especially teaching online, when you can't compensate in the moment for the individual student. That's because everyone has their own issues, and you manage to hit a very broad base with your education, and I think that's really important and a very good thing. And I'm just curious about your thought process in designing your lessons, from when you're learning the song into how you present them to on camera.
Yeah. Okay. Well, firstly, I just want to say, I know that like a lot of music teachers will absolutely come at it from a different angle to me, and I hope that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay for me, but like I hope they kind of don't hate me for what I do, because I know it's like a very different thing. The way I kind of look at myself is I'm like okay, this is going to be a bit of a weird analogy, right? But someone once was telling me about weightlifting magazines. I don't know if you've ever seen like bodybuilder magazines.
Oh yeah.
And they all have this kind of thing on them that say like, wait, is it? Yeah, they all have this kind of thing on them that say like, get a 6-pack in 8 weeks, or build your biceps in 20 minutes, or whatever it is. And a lot of people buy those magazines and they might learn one exercise or do like a little bit of exercise, and that's kind of enough for them. And then like a small proportion of those people will get that magazine and be like, oh, I'm obsessed. I want to find out everything I can. And then they'll go on to the kind of more advanced stuff. So I look at myself as like an episode of Bodybuilders Monthly or something, which is where like, I know that's like a really, I said it was like
that's a good analogy.
Example,
that's a good one.
A good analogy, okay. Where like, so like for my channel, like, you know, like, I guess millions of people have seen one of my videos, or maybe a few of my videos, and maybe they've learned how to play, you know, one song that they like. Maybe they like 21 Pilots or Elvis or Beatles or whatever. But from the sort of millions that have seen it, maybe tens of thousands or thousands or hundreds have moved on and gone to like guys like you and other teachers, been like, actually, I want to learn more about this stuff, you know. So I see myself as like a gateway would have been a better thing to say than a bodybuilding magazine.
I mean, you wrote them into the because the one thing about your lessons is no matter what song you pick that you're teaching, whoever's watching it, I feel like will be able to play it, or at least have confidence that they will be able to get it in a short period of time. Which is hard because music can be frustrating, you know. And actually, I love that you equate it kind of to bodybuilding, because I do that a lot in my own lessons, and equating practicing with weightlifting and developing sets, and how you don't magically bench press 250 overnight. That's not how the world works. You need to slowly build your way up to it, and it can be a methodical process. But much like working out, it can be fun, and it can also be terrible and not fun at all, and you want to avoid that, and it's hard to avoid that sometimes. So the way I justify myself to other teachers is that. But in terms of going back to how you were asking me about how my lesson plan sort of came about, basically, like when I started, like I said, it was sort of for a joke, and it was just a bit of fun, and I didn't know what I was doing. So I'd post a lesson on whatever the song was, and then a bunch of people said, hey, can you add the strumming pattern? So I'm like, okay, I'll start doing that. And then a lot of people said, can you sing along so we get an idea of it? I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I can do that. And basically, it was just, I sort of threw a lot of stuff at a wall and saw what stick and what didn't stick. And eventually I've got a pretty, I guess, robust formula of, you know, what I do. Like I'll play a little bit at the beginning, then I'll say, here's the chords you need, here's the strumming pattern you need, and then here's how to play the verse, the chorus, here's how you put it all together. And it just seems to work. So I'm not sure where it came from, except for the fact that, like I say, I sort of threw it out at the beginning, and then people would say, can you do this or that? And and I think
enough people asked
we've
for it,
all
eventually like
experienced
adapted.
that online, because me transitioning from I've taught, you know, in-person private lessons and group lessons and such for, gosh, how old am I now? Nearly 20 years on different instruments. And you know, you're always adapting your teaching from what your students give you. And same thing on YouTube. We get feedback when we're giving lessons of, you should have taught this in the lesson, right? Or I wish you had done this. And sometimes you think about it, you go, well, no, I don't want to. But other times you go, well, that's a really good idea. And I think there's something to be said from learning a lot from your students and viewers, as well, as far as what works and what doesn't, and accessibility for different skill levels. And that's important, you know, that you're able to be flexible and work those new concepts in as you find that they're relevant to what you're doing. You know, so what is on the horizon for you in the next year or so?
Well, two things, I guess, two big things. Well, two things. I don't know if they're big or not, but two things. Firstly, in October, and I've actually forgotten this date every single year, so I've really got to make sure I don't forget it this year. But I think October, either the 9th or the 11th, it is literally my 10-year YouTube birthday. So I want to do something for that. I've got a bit of an idea for a video I can make for it, but I feel like it'll take me like months to edit it. So I've got to start that kind of soon. So it's my 10-year anniversary as the ukulele teacher on YouTube.
And by October, you might actually be able to have an in-person huge party to celebrate.
Oh, wow. Yeah, maybe.
It might be possible.
Well, it's funny you should say that, actually, because one of the things I used to say when people would sort of talk to me about why do you do it on YouTube and stuff is I would much, you were saying you've taught in person for years. I much prefer when people can't talk back and can't answer back, because, you know,
that's something I've been liking about teaching on Zoom. You can mute the group classes and be like, no, I'm just going to talk at you now.
But like if I'm in a classroom and someone they just can't play the chord or they can't do the strum, I don't know if I'm sort of equipped to be like, you know, well, this is fine. All you've got to do is this or that. I think I'd probably get like kind of angry or something, or just not know what to do. Whereas at least on YouTube, the worst they can do is sort of leave a nasty comment or just watch it again or play it slower and watch it again and again. So I think doing it on YouTube kind of suits my temperament. I have to say, I do quite like being on stage, but I also get very nervous about it. Like I've done a few festivals,
Mhm.
but the sort of, I don't know, 30 minutes or whatever, or 40 minutes that I'm on stage, which I do thoroughly enjoy, doesn't make up for the, and I'm not even kidding, like weeks or months of like literal cold sweat nightmares that I'm having in the lead up to it. So, I had, this is a bit deep, but I had nightmares last night about this, actually. I was like, I'm really
I know
enjoying
I'm very
it.
terrifying, John.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, like I'm really enjoying chatting with you, and I knew it would be fun as well, but I was just like, oh, but what if I say something stupid, or my phone doesn't work, or I mess something up, or just I don't know. I just had all these kind of worries. Also, like I put Percy to bed just before this, so I was worried I wouldn't be able to like put him down, and then the last few nights he hasn't gone down very easily. He's been like kind of, is going through the kind of terrible twos. So I thought, well, if he's not down in time, then I won't be able to set up my phone and my tripod and everything. And I don't want to be late for you. So I just was getting stressed out about that. Why are we talking about things that stress me out? I don't know, but
I know you brought us there. We can keep going though. I'm all right with it.
Yeah. Here's other things that I'm scared of.
Yeah.
No, I don't know why, but so yeah. Oh yeah. So anyway, the point is, I think I actually prefer doing online lessons to in-person lessons, and it's kind of a shame because one of the things that seemed to have happened, especially during the pandemic, but also just in general over the last few years, is people doing things like Twitch and just live, like Zoom meets and stuff. And I feel like I probably should be doing something like that, but I also don't especially want to do it. Firstly, the Wi-Fi isn't that great in this area, and secondly, I'm just not sure that I'm cut out for sort of live stuff. I like to very carefully edit all my mistakes, so people, so at least give the impression that I know what I'm talking about, for like those 10 minutes.
No, I totally understand. And the funny thing is, I'm the exact opposite. I'm not nervous on stage. I can stand in front of hundreds of people and talk for an hour and a half. I'm happy. You turn a camera on me in my own living room, and that's when it just everything's wrong in the world. And I can't think about anything. It's been so, because I was making YouTube videos for a while, a couple of years before the pandemic, but it was an occasional thing that I did, and then all of my gigs got canceled for a year overnight. Essentially, it was really wild. I said, well, I guess I'm going to double down on this online instruction thing that I'm doing here. I was like, oh, I actually have to figure out how to talk to a camera and pretend that someone is on the other side, and that's nerve-wracking to me, because I'm so used to having that personal feedback, people asking questions, and that guides the lesson. And I'm like, oh, I actually have to structure things and figure this out ahead of time now.
Yeah. Isn't the secret to pretend there isn't anyone there on the other side of the camera? That's kind of what I do. Because I feel like if I stopped and thought of all the sort of...
Yeah, I have to pretend that someone's there, and then I'm in my element. But if I'm just talking on camera, I just feel silly, and I feel like my cat is laughing at me if there's no one else there and I'm just talking at a camera. I feel like Charlie is off to the side laughing at me, and I can't have a cat making fun of me. It's just unacceptable.
For sure, yeah.
You say you said you had two big things coming up in the next year, right?
That's right. Yeah. I was about to say, and the second thing that it's not like an announcement, and I still haven't totally figured out the logistics of it yet, but I want to do guitar lessons. Ukulele sort of started as a joke, and obviously it's kind of been great for me. It's my job now, so I can't really get out of it. But guitar was always my first instrument, and I would like to do guitar lessons. And I'm looking into the best way of doing that now. I'm sort of trying to figure it out, but I want to do it more. Like the thing about the ukulele is you really can, even if you've got no musical knowledge or instrument background or whatever, you really can pick up a ukulele and just about play, say, 1, 2, maybe 3 chords in 10 minutes.
Absolutely,
and sort of bash out a song, right? But with a guitar, I think you really can't do that. Like, I don't think you can. I know I couldn't when I was a kid.
No, I find it much harder from a beginner standpoint.
Yeah, right. And I want to do kind of more like sort of advanced, more in-depth beginner guitar lessons, and supplement them with lessons in a style that I do now for the ukulele. So my thought is to kind of do maybe like a beginner's course, like a 6-hour thing, or maybe 20-minute YouTube videos or something on Patreon. I'm kind of trying to figure out how best to like deliver it. But this has been like kind of whirring my head for like months. And I did put a poll about it about 6 months ago on YouTube, and there seemed to be some interest. But again, it's just hard to kind of figure out the best way of like delivering it. And also, I sort of feel like I'm like tied in with my name, like the ukulele teacher.
Right.
Sort of
The
like,
ukulele teacher teaches guitar.
Teaches guitar, yeah. And so it's like, do I start a new channel? But then if I start a new channel, I'm going down to literally 0 again.
Yeah.
And that's sort of difficult. But then if I do it on the ukulele teacher channel, it might alienate people who just want to learn ukulele.
Right. But on the other hand, there are a lot of
know.
people that use ukulele as a stepping stone to get to
Yeah.
guitar. So I don't
And
feel like that's necessarily a bad thing, because there's so many parallels there.
Oh, okay. Well, and I'm feeling that now. I'm feeling like a lot of people who kind of used to follow me. I kind of see them pop up now, and they're like, you know, learning more advanced stuff from other teachers, and you know, doing their own thing and stuff. And yeah, I spoke to Ten Thumbs as well at NAMM, I think, a couple of years ago, and because he does uke mainly, but he does a few guitar lessons, I think. And he said every time
he does. Yeah, he does some synth stuff too, I believe.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Tyler's all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, I'll have to look for that. But he was saying like every time he moves away from the uke, the viewing figures kind of sort of tumble accordingly, and I want to be wary of that. But
yeah, absolutely.
But I do want to do it. You know, yeah.
Yeah, and so sometimes you just got to take the hit, right, and let it be and do what you want. Because I do the same thing. You know, it's odd that on the internet I'm almost solely a ukulele player, but in real life, if you come to one of my gigs, I'm playing, you know, ukulele, banjo, guitar, tenor guitar, maybe some upright bass, and that's a normal gig for you. It's very rarely a full set of ukulele on there.
What do you play with a band or just yourself solo?
Both. A lot of festivals I do myself. I have a 4-piece band where I play guitar and banjo and uke, and I have a Manouche gypsy jazz guitar player, phenomenal player with me, a guy who doubles on fiddle and mandolin, and then an upright bassist in there. So we have like old school American string band format that we use, doing all the 20s and 30s stuff up until World War II. That's like our cutoff here.
Cutoff point. Yeah.
And the originals, they're kind of like same ragtime sort of stuff. Since you say you've been playing some more guitar and thinking about teaching it, I personally have found, you know, in learning other instruments, that they really help inform how I think about playing the other instruments that I already play. But I think that my ukulele playing has, although guitar came first for me as well, I think has greatly improved my guitar playing as well as my bass playing, despite them being completely opposite instruments. It just a new perspective on it. Do you feel like you and your ukulele journey have become a better guitar player because of it as well?
Well, okay, let's have some real talk, if you like. One of the reasons I wanted to do guitar lessons is because I feel like my ukulele playing has actually really stagnated doing what I do, because I've basically, like I said, I made a conscious decision, but I basically have stuck at the kind of absolute beginner's level, and it's been good for YouTube, you know, being able to teach people their favorite sort of Taylor Swift song or whatever it is they want to learn. But as a player, I all of a sudden I'm watching these videos, including yourself, and I'm like, oh, I used to be able to play like tunes and stuff in ukulele, not just like 4 chords. So I've become, without getting too sort of bleak about it, I've become I don't want to say a much worse player, but certainly I haven't progressed very much in the last few years doing all this. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to go to guitar, I think, is just because I love it, and I know I'm a better guitar player than a ukulele player, and I hope it'll kind of maybe reignite my passion for playing or give me an opportunity to do more advanced stuff or something, I think. So yeah.
Nice. No, that's great. I bet it will. Because at least I know from my own personal experience that it's been huge. And you know, you plateau on every instrument as well. You get to those frustrating points where you feel like you can't go any further. And sometimes you gotta step away for a second, you know?
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel like I can go a lot further, but it goes back to what we were saying at the beginning of the chat, actually, because when we started, there was no one doing this, you know? So I was the ukulele teacher and ukulele mic. And now, you know, if you want to learn like the claw hammer technique, or which I still want to learn. I'm still like just really struggle with stuff like that, or other things like that.
You got my number. Hit me up sometime. I'll show you.
Okay, yeah, I will do for sure.
You haven't.
Yeah. Then now there's all these, online tutorials and stuff about everything you could want to learn. It is all there now. But again, when I started, it wasn't there, or at least it wasn't so easy to find. So all that stuff was there. And again, like I said, like I've kind of given this, I feel like I've kind of built this like springboard so a lot of people come to me and then bounced off what I'm doing to teach themselves more and more stuff. And I've kind of stuck on the like ground floor, just kind of repeating the same few things. And again, I'm trying to do like slightly more interesting things from time to time, but it takes so long to like edit these videos. So for example, if I wanted to do, we were talking about it, I think before we started, about the Thugs Mansion
Toolbox,
riff today.
The Nas acoustic mix of it. Which is, if you're not familiar with it, I'm just going to link to it in the description, because this is one of my favorite hip hop songs of all time.
And it's great.
Guitar part's incredible too.
It is beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful, and it sits well on uke as well.
It does, and I was sort of transposing it, and it's one, I don't know what, 8-bar phrase or something, and it's repeated throughout. But to make a lesson in my style with sort of the graphics and the editing and the backgrounds and whatever and the lighting and stuff, it's basically taken me 3 days to make one sort of 5-minute lesson, because I had to learn the song, I had to film it, I had to edit it, I've had to upload it, I've had to do the song sheet and everything. So even to learn like one kind of 8-bar phrase, and the more difficult the songs are, and I'm not even saying that's necessarily a difficult song, but it's just more advanced than what I normally do. It sort of exponentially increases the amount of time I have to spend on, on that video. So it's been tough to kind of get more into doing more sort of advanced stuff, but hopefully I'll have the time at some point.
Right. It's like you were saying earlier about staying one step ahead of the students. And when you delve into the more advanced stuff, it's a lot harder to stay that one extra step ahead sometimes.
For sure, yeah.
We're like, wait, how does this actually work? I know that feeling very well, and I feel lucky that, like, because I get to do more intermediate and advanced lessons with the people who follow me, that I get to push myself in that as well. And I count myself really lucky in that, as I find things that amuse me and push me, as well as hopefully the people that view my content, so I can keep grooving with it. John, would you want to play us one last tune?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Let's go for it. Okay, here we go.
John, thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening and joining me and chatting today. And as always, I'll link to John's YouTube channel in case anyone has not seen that before, but also his cameo and all that jazz too, if you want to check him out over there. So thank you again.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been cool. No, I was just going to say, you said you listened to that song in college, back in college, right?
High school. High school, yeah.
High school, okay. Like this is going to sound crazy, but I've got no idea how old that song is, because I heard both versions for the first time about 3 days ago. When
oh my God, really?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Yeah. Like both versions for the first time in my life 3 days ago.
There's more than two as well. There's there's another remix. I forget who it is. Has an extra verse on there that's really great. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. It's just such a great tune and a great challenge as well instrumentally.
Yeah. So that's one of the things I like about what I do, is like loads of people will kind of leave me comments, and often it's like too many to kind of delve into, but every now and again I'll get one and it'll maybe have like a lot of likes underneath it, or it'll just intrigue me in some way, and I'll check out the song. And like I said, I checked out Thugs Mansion, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is pretty special. I got to like figure this out like ASAP. And so I'm still like discovering new music. Is kind of the wrong word for it. I'm still discovering new music to me, and that's something that I'm like I really love about this job. Like sometimes, like I say, it gets me down, or I feel like my playing is plateauing, or I don't always get to do the stuff that I like, but when I discover like a song like that and it really kind of hits you, it's great. And I was listening to the acoustic version while I was setting up my lights and camera and everything, and I just had it. This is for the lesson, and I just had it on a loop, so I had it up for about, I don't know, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like really, I don't know, deep. I want to say, I want to like reveal something about myself, but it kind of nearly made me cry a little bit when I was listening to it. Like
Tupac will do that to you.
like,
I
yeah,
mean,
and I've
what a
honestly never
poet.
heard any of him before, you know. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
if you like poetry, I feel like he's a great rabbit hole to go down. What
interesting.
a
Okay.
phenomenal wordsmith. But yeah, the emotions he can evoke, that song tears me up as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
It's
me too. I mean, like
something
really,
about it.
seriously, you know. Yeah, yeah. That's what I was going to ask you. Actually, how does that? Have there been any other songs or songs at all that have made you like cry or at least sort of tear up?
Oh my gosh, so many,
At all
so
like
many.
that?
That's why I play music. I swear. Oh my God, I swear. Every time that I hear Hoagie Carmichael's "The Nearness of You," every single time, it just gets me. There's something about that tune, and so
I'm
many
so
others.
sorry. Can you tell me the name again? Tell me the name
Oh,
again of that song.
the nearness of you, written by Hoagie
Sorry,
Carmichael. The
no,
nearness
the
of
thing
you.
just
Yeah.
cut out for a sec. Just it's cutting out again. Just
Oh, there you go. It's the nearness of you by Hoagie Carmichael. Great old love song, but it's
okay,
just
okay.
so beautiful. Gets me every time, man.
Okay, I'll have a look for that one. The one that really got, I think, like probably the first song, and there's not many, there's not like a massive list, but the first song that ever really got to me was, do you know Glenn Campbell?
Oh yeah.
He had a song called, yeah, I forget what it's called actually. It's either called like Any Trouble or Don't Go to Any Trouble, something like that. And it was off his last album. And it was when he was like, he had like, what was it, like Alzheimer's, I think, or Parkinson's, but whatever it was, he had like a very sort of, he was deteriorating, and this basically sounded to me like a song about sort of his like to his family about what to do or not to do when he dies, and I just found it like heartbreaking. Once I like because often I don't even listen to the words when I listen to music. I'll be listening to, I don't know what, the bass or the guitar parts or whatever, but somehow I was just listening to the words, and it just sort of reminded me of my own like grandparents and stuff, and I was like, oh wow. And then I've got like a few like live albums of his, and there's one where I think he's playing that song. I think it's that song. It might be another one, but where his son, I think, plays the guitar solo, and he goes, "Oh, that's my boy" at the end of it, and I'm like, "Oh man, that's like, I don't know, just for some
It
reason."
just chokes you
I
up
guess
right
now that
there.
I've firstly
Yeah.
like just become a father, and secondly, just past a certain like age thing, I'm a bit more emotional about things now. But yeah, it's like, wow, that like, oh, when he's like, that's my boy, and I'm like, oh, that'll be me in I don't know how many years, but yeah, it's like that got me, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just the visceral reaction we could get from music is incredible.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, I mean, one of the big reasons we do it, right? It's not about the technical side. It's about evoking emotion when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's a beautiful thing. Would you mind playing us just a little bit of exit music to get us out of here?
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah. No worries. Okay, cool. Oh, actually, I've got no idea what to play. Hang on a sec. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sure.